past 2 years have been a period of double disruption in the global world of work. On the one hand, new technologies, the fourth industrial revolution, continue to transform the way we live, the way we work, the way we create value in the global economy. On the other hand, COVID-19 has not only disrupted the livelihoods of so many, but also fundamentally accelerated the rate of change and the arrival of this new future of work. And we see this at the World Economic Forum through some of the data that we're using, that 80% of companies over the last 2 years have actually scaled remote work. Perhaps unsurprisingly, more than 80% have accelerated digitization, and more than half have accelerated automation. So it is in many ways not an overstatement to say that the future of work has already arrived for many workers around the world. So when we look at these trends, it is important to keep a sense of perspective. And from the analysis at the World Economic Forum, we find at least one fundamental truth in all of this, that technology and all of these new trends continue to create more new jobs than the jobs that are being disrupted and that are going away. And we are seeing actually the emergence of these jobs in a wide variety of fields. So it is not just the sort of technology jobs and artificial intelligence and robotics and so on. There's actually a big range of opportunities emerging in fields as diverse as marketing, sales, product development, as well as, interestingly, in areas such as the green economy, the care economy, healthcare, and so on. And some of those sectors could be further boosted through targeted public investment as well. So all in all, this is not a terrible picture. The problem is that the skills requirements and what will be needed in these newly emerging jobs often looks very different from the ones in the jobs that are going away. And so, again, through the research at the World Economic Forum, we estimate that around 50% of employees, half of the global workforce, will need to have some form of reskilling by 2025 to stay productively employed in their current jobs. And over this same period, 40% of the current core skills that we're all using in our jobs are also likely to change. And we only need to think about the way many of us had to adjust the way we all work over this last period of COVID to get a more immediate sense of what that actually looks like. And so there is not just existing skills gaps that continue to remain, but there's also emerging new skills gaps in getting ready for these jobs of the future. So that is the scale of the challenge. However, there's good news as well. And the first piece of these good news is that we fundamentally know what are some of these new skills that will be required to be ready and to thrive in the new world of work. So many of the other panelists have already spoken about dimensions of that, but I just want to share again from the perspective of us here at the World Economic Forum that it is, on the one hand, yes, technology skills, knowing how to work with digital technologies, knowing how to utilize technologies that are, of course, emerging in many new professions. But on the other hand, it is really these interpersonal skills, creativity, innovation, these really uniquely human skills. And it is really the combination of these two sets of skills that will equip many and most of us to be ready for the future of work. The second piece of good news is that it is provable that investment in upskilling, in reskilling, is just fundamentally good business sense, and in many, many cases has the potential to pay for itself in less than 1 year. And so we're seeing that 2 out of 3 large employers expect a return on investment from reskilling within 1 year from due to the increased productivity of employees that are going through this reskilling. And also the time to build the new skills needed to actually shift and the pathway into a new job of the future is in the scale of months. And so this, of course, ranges. So, for example, in jobs that are quite heavy on hard skills, such as cloud computing and engineering, it could be 4 to 5 months to bridge that from a sort of similar job but the scale is it's measurable in months and not in years. Somewhat concerningly, we're currently seeing that only a minority of businesses globally are able to make use of any kind of public support, public funds to invest in their employees' reskilling and upskilling. So certainly here at the World Economic Forum, we think that it is absolutely critical and in the fundamental self-interest of the private sector to step up here and also to play their part. And the third piece of good news is that if we actually aggregate up all of this potential investment in upskilling and reskilling, we see that it could have put massive macroeconomic benefits as well. And so, according to some research we have recently done with PwC, a wide-scale investment in upskilling has the potential to boost global GDP by $6.5 trillion by 2030. So the equivalent of adding another country of the size of France or the United Kingdom to the global economy. And so, as you can see on the slide, we have actually modeled sort of two scenarios of how we could go about this, including a initial kind of kickoff period where some of this investment can be used to build fundamentally the infrastructure that would be needed to put in place for having a much more normalized and wide-ranging upscaling system globally. And so this is something that will kind of go gradually, but can yield massive returns over time. And so we think it is very timely that as we're still moving out of the COVID pandemic, as we're kind of looking of how we move at this point in time our economies forward, that investment in skills is an absolutely core and crucial strategy in making all of this work. And so to give you a bit more of a sense of what we're thinking about at the World Economic Forum, of what will actually be needed to create such a global system for upskilling and reskilling, we think it is important to build an interoperable global skills ecosystem. And one fundamental requirement to build such a system is simply for all of us and many more organizations to speak the same language around skills and around credentials and around skills requirements and so on. So what we would like to propose is to really concert efforts across many stakeholders to build a global skills taxonomy that could function as a universal translator between existing taxonomies, between existing public and statistical systems of measuring skills, and also the taxonomies really used by the private sector, used by individual companies, as well as, of course, by education institutions and others, and to just have a way of really logically connecting all of these and being able to speak the same language. And if you had such a system in place, what you could then also do is to really build on top of that and look at common standards around skills training, around like identifying best practice, defining global minimum standards of what skills recognition and skills training should actually look like, and also look at potentially actually certifying such a system in a more global way. This is something that we're currently working on at the World Economic Forum. So I'm sharing with you here sort of work in progress that we're currently working on with a big coalition of stakeholders. But it is something that you'll certainly be hearing a lot more about from the World Economic Forum over the coming weeks and months. And I just wanted to share as well that a lot of the data that I have just shared with you is coming from a survey that the World Economic Forum is running every 2 years. It is a very wide-ranging survey on future skills and jobs requirements that informs the research behind our flagship Future of Jobs report. And I would really like to invite everyone here at the summit today to consider participating in this survey when it comes out just a little bit later this year. This will really help us inform the research and provide very good coverage from all of your perspectives, from a wide variety of geographies. And we highly value this opportunity for collaboration. If you want to learn more about the World Economic Forum's work to mobilize this movement to a reskilling revolution, please feel free to visit our website and feel free to reach out as well to us, and we look forward to continuing to work with all of you. Thank you very much.